going on, everybody? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the Star Wars Black Series Attack of the Clones Jango Fett action figure. This is the newer Jango Fett that has just been released. Pretty excited for this one. I really, as much as that old one is dated, when it came out, I actually quite enjoyed it for the time. I thought the sculpt, the detail, I thought for the most part, the articulation was pretty solid on it. This is also what I want to say around 2015 he came out. I want to say around that era. I'll have to go check, but somebody can let me know in the comments below if I'm incorrect. That's fine. But I still liked that Jango for the longest time until, you started to know the nooks and crannies. I think my biggest drawback from the original Jango was the feet. The feet were curved up. So let's just see how this guy stacks up to the old one. Let's see if we've got curved feet again. And let's take a look at the packaging. I normally don't do packaging, but I'm going to do it for this one because I really like Jango. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. So there we go. We got the front of the box. We've got the side artwork right there of Jango. We've got the back. Little read up, proficient marksman and unarmed combatant. Jango Fett was regarded as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy in the final years of the Republic. So there you go. Pretty blah read up, but let's get him out of package and we'll take a closer look at him. All right, and we're back with Jango out of the packaging. I didn't do too much playing around with this figure. I just kind of wanted to go into this kind of cold. So with that being said, let's get into it as I knock a bunch of shit over. He comes as far as accessories go. This is everything. 1, 2, 3, 4 accessories for Jango. He comes with his jetpack, which this seems to be articulated, which is really cool on the jetpack. I did not know that. That's really awesome. So he's got ball jointed thrusters on the jetpack itself, and this is the later jetpack that does not get destroyed in the duel with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is the one that technically malfunctions, and it's kind of like a gray plastic for the back. You can see the swirl marks in the back of the plastic, but it's going to be covered up by his back anyway. Would have liked a little bit more paint with this backpack. It is very plasticky. I'm probably going to go ahead and paint this up myself to make it look presentable because it looks very toyetic right now and super duper plasticky. The paint where it is, though, is pretty solid. Anything but the gray looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a purple plastic right here. That could be paint. I might be mistaking that. But it looks like there's like a purple plastic right here as well. But looks pretty good. And I love that this is articulated. That is a very nice touch for an updated jetpack for Jango. Very nicely done. Hasbro on that one. I believe these are, Westar blasters. I might have to look it up. I apologize. I will apologize. I will correct myself in the review if I am incorrect. But I'm pretty sure that these are some sort of Westar blaster pistol. These are one of my favorite designs for a blaster pistol in Star Wars. It's just so sleek. It looks elegant. The design looks lightweight, looks fast and easy to draw, quick to handle, stuff like that. And pretty powerful. These blasters have taken down multiple Jedi, and he has taken down multiple Jedi by his own bare hands. Please go read Jango. I think it's Jango Fett Open Seasons. It's one of my favorite comics of all time. But he comes with 2 of them, which he should because he dual wields. And then it also comes with his helmet with the articulated rangefinder, which mine is super duper tight on mine, which it still works. It's working. It kind of almost clicks into place. Like there's a detent there. And then when you put it down, it really does stay into place. So it's not loose. You don't have to worry about that. So you could have his targeting system ready or not, whatever you want to do. The helmet is going to have to be repainted by myself as well because you can see there's like swirl marks right here because of the plastic. I'm not sure if it's picking up on camera, but you can see it in the corner right there, right up in there. So that's unfortunate. I wish they would have given this guy more paint, but that's kind of been Hasbro's MO. Lack of paint, more articulation. So that's kind of their thing, unfortunately. It does look a little bare bones. The helmet does look a little small, but it does fit on his head. Let's see if it covers his head all the way, and it does. So it does its job. There's not really any chin showing other than maybe over here a little bit if you have it at a certain angle. So maybe I would have liked it if the head sat a little bit lower, but it's really not the end of the world. And this almost kind of gives me the way the helmet's sitting and the way the helmet fits. The SH Figure Arts version kind of feeling. So there's that to kind of point out. He is much closer, I want to say smaller in size, less girth than the original. I'm going to bring him in later for comparisons, but he feels a little bit more in tune with what Jango Fett actually should be, which is a little bit smaller. And to kind of compare that, let me bring in my Dagobah Luke Skywalker. And here's Dagobah Luke. And you could definitely tell that that is a guy in a suit. So that's really nice. And I think that this is a nice depiction because Jango is larger than Luke. And then we'll bring in the new Luke, new Bespin Luke, to kind of compare as well. And as you can see, he is bigger than Luke as well. So nice little thing there. And then we'll do one more quick comparison with some other Black Series. Here's Kanan. And he is going to be taller because Kanan is taller. And he has kind of got the bent knees right here. So we'll unbend those knees, flatten those feet out. And as you can see, he is taller than Jango. So, but Kanan does run on the taller side. So I don't really, it doesn't bother me too much. As far as the head goes, now, because I do want to take a really close look at this head. The helmet is a little bit tight to get off, but just kind of pull it off. I think it's a really good depiction. Let me zoom in here a little bit more, and we'll get going with that. I think the head looks really good. He's got the little scar over the eye, which is accurate, and a really good likeness to Tamora Morrison. I think they did a really good job with this head sculpt. If you saw some of the past head sculpts with him, it's been kind of hit or miss, even with some of the clones. I want to say they have got better. Like, I want to say Jesse, Fives, and Echo were all pretty solid. I want to say Fives has probably got one of the best clone head sculpts of mine that I like. But this one is very top-notch. I really do. I think they did a good job with this. So, better than even some of the Boba Fett heads that they've done recently. So, but I like it quite a bit, and I like the skin tone, the paint detail, even the 5 o'clock shadow that he's supposed to have is there. So very well done. This is one of my favorite bounty hunters of all time. I want to say between him and Cad Bane, those are my two favorites of all time. And yeah, I am pretty pleased to have this guy. Let's go back to normal here. And yeah. So I think he looks really good. As far as sculpt and detail go, he's got a lot of paint. It's almost like a metallic silver paint for his armor. So they put a lot of the paint work onto the armor pieces, it seems. And then you've got this like purple plastic underneath for the overlay for his armor, which is really actually nice to see that it's an overlay because that's how the armor actually originally was on him. I can't remember, but I'm going to get the figure in a minute to compare. But I think on the original, he didn't have this. I don't know if he had this overlay connected to the shoulder. I think this was was molded to the shoulder. I'll have to double check when I get the figure. I could be wrong. But it is really cool to see that the neck piece underneath for the underneath suit is actually like a separate different color. It's like a lighter color that matches the arms here as opposed to the armor overlay. So that's really nice to see. I think, like I said, body proportions make sense here. He looks like a guy in a suit, and it feels right. It looks right. It feels right. I think they did a really good job. The hoses and such, you're going to really, like, be careful because with the new Boba Fett, the arms are kind of set up the same way with the hoses. You can get a lot more range of motion here with this arm. than you can the other. He does have swivels there, so you can swivel that and kind of cheat it. Let's see if we can swivel this and kind of cheat it out of bending. But yeah, no, these hoses, because there's 3 of them there, it's really hard to cheat that and get full range of motion there. And you're really putting a lot of pressure on those hoses. They're probably going to snap like the new Book of Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett, not Jango Fett. You could, like I say, you can cheat it. Just be very, very careful. I have seen people snap these hoses off and then get mad about it. But I'm like, well, you got to pay attention to what you're doing there. But he's not going to get a whole lot of bend naturally. So you got to swivel that stuff and get it over. So that's unfortunate. I wish there was another way that they could, I don't know what you would do here. I'm trying to think offhand. Maybe something comes to me while I'm doing the review. I'll figure that out, but I don't want to waste too much time here. Legs can go forward, as far as like the old Jango, these would get in the way a lot. And this is a much softer plastic for his dual wielding holsters, which is really nice. The overlay's definitely getting in the way of the arms, which is unfortunate. So you can't, like, for those of you that are obsessed with doing full 360s, which I'm not, he can still do what he needs to do. He can, throw a punch and look natural and stuff like that, but you're going to have to kind of work with it because this overlay piece is really kind of getting in the way. I guess what you could do is you could trim this right up the seam and then glue it to his shoulder, but I don't know how natural that's going to look. I almost want to say just kind of leave it alone. You can kind of force him to do that. I don't know why people are so obsessed with having to do a full 360 in the arm anyway. It's not like you're going to be able to, it's not like he's a humanoid. Like he's not double jointed as far as I know for Jango. But I like it. I like the gauntlets. The paint is consistent throughout the armor onto the gauntlets, onto the, maybe not actually. I want to say the gauntlets are consistent with the chest armor, but not the knee pad, crotch, or shin. It's very weird. This is very, very weird. Yeah, so the crotch covering armor is consistent with the knee pad armor and the shin armor, but the boot armor is consistent with the gauntlets and the chest armor, which is, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do that? That's very annoying and kind of frustrating, I want to say. It's like, so you're going to put paint apps on certain areas, but not on the areas that are, I don't understand that. That's a weird situation there. They went super plasticky on the parts that you probably shouldn't go super plasticky on. Like the helmet is going to be looked at constantly. Like if anything, I don't know. I almost want to say, if you're going to say that it's a regular release, blah, blah, blah. If you wanted more paint apps, it's going to be deluxe, then just make the damn figure deluxe. Don't paint half the figure and then just do swirly, crappy plastic for the rest of the figure. I don't know if anybody else has pointed this out. Maybe they have. I don't know, but it is kind of an eyesore seeing swirly plastic crap that we used to see back in like 2012, 13 with Marvel Legends. And we're getting it now. And it's like, if either paint the whole thing or don't paint it at all. Like, just do one or the other, because painting half of it just looks weird when the other half isn't painted. And then you decide to paint these, but you don't paint, like, what? I don't know what you were thinking there. That's very strange. The rest of the sculpt, like I said, the undersuit looks really good. Not a whole lot of paint apps or anything like that. So if you wanted to like weather this up a little bit, you could. Or if you want to go for the clean look, you could do that too. I'm probably going to get multiples of this guy and customize a multiples of them and just kind of make my own poncho and maybe get print up a 3D printed headset for him while he's in his Slave 1. So there's that. As far as his articulation does go, his head can swivel full 360 if you needed to. On the neck joint, he's got a neck peg joint here and then a neck peg joint for the head. Still can't, I mean, he can look up better than some, but for a flying character with the helmet on, it's going to hinder it. We need to do We really need to, they need to stop doing the peg joint here. It needs to be a peg here, and it needs to be a hinge pegged here. So like Monster Force does, okay? Operation Monster Force does it perfectly. So you can get the full range of motion in the head. You can still get the tilts too with Monster Force as well, like this. But you can also get that stupor. I don't know what a stupor is. That super nice swivel at the neck joint and at the head joint as well. And the hinge is going to be covered up. Like, it's still going to be covered up. So I don't know, man. It's a weird, it's still like Black Series. Like, it's like one step forward, one step back with some of their stuff. I want to say body proportions, sculpt overall, paint apps 50-50. Not too impressed with that. But let's get back to the articulation because I'm going off on a tangent here. Arms go up, arms go down. You can do a full 360 like I showed earlier if you really want to. He does have butterfly joints, which is there. He does have a swivel at the shoulder. He does have a single jointed elbow, which does get more than 90 degrees, which is nice. Swivel at that elbow as well. He does have a wrist, or are these ball jointed? Yes, they're ball jointed wrists, which is really nice. I like those quite a bit. He does have a swivel at the waist. He does have a kind of a crunch forward, crunch back, but he's kind of staying, you know, the way he is. There's no really crunching up here or anything like that underneath the overlay. Legs go forward, legs go back a little bit, and this is kind of like a malleable diaper plastic, which is nice, so you can still get his legs kicked out. Still, you know, splits comparable with some Spider-Man figures, which is nice, even with the harness on here. He does have the anatomically correct upper thigh swivel. He does have a single jointed knee, which is perfectly fine for me. I really don't need too much more than at least do a little bit more than 90 degrees. That's good. If they could do 120, I think that's perfect. 120, 130, that's fine with me. But just over 90 degrees is perfectly fine. Swivel at the knee, pointy toe, pointy heely, which is far better than the old Jango, because the old Jango couldn't move his foot for hell's sake. Ankle pivot, 2 peg holes, and a partridge in a pear tree. All right, so here's the major comparison that I'm going to make here, and there's going to be a little bit time spent here because there's a lot to talk about. I don't know what it is about this old Jango. It's still kind of endearing to me. It's not too bad. And I think there's aspects of this old Jango that do trump this new Jango. Like in the shoulders. See, I do remember properly. The shoulders moved with the elbow pad, or the shoulder pad, shoulder armor. This does not. It's just an overlay. So he can't really move with that. And while probably that's more accurate, it's still an action figure. You still want to be able to pose him. So this makes actually more sense. I think this is a better range of motion and better engineering here than this. Now, there's not a whole lot after that that's really better engineered than this guy, but it is something to point out that I also don't think a lot of people are pointing out. Also, there's a lot of weathering detail on him. Now, there's multiple different variants. You had clean variants. You had Gaming Grains variant, which was more so of the duel between him and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Kamino, and also his look in the game, Bounty Hunter. So there was that. I want to say that the blasters are far better painted on the old one, so maybe you want to use the old blasters, which actually are a little bit larger, but they have actual paint apps on them, where this is just like a plasticky color. So let's go and see how good he looks with the old blasters. They are a little bit on the larger side, and I also want to see, and they fit in the hand, so they look pretty good. They are a little bit on the larger side, but the paint apps and the not just on the handle, but the barrel itself has actually got paint apps. Let's see if they fit in his holster really quick. Yeah, they're a bit too big. So they're too big, which is unfortunate. But I mean, if you're just gonna have them in his hands, then I don't think it really matters. I don't know. I still don't know. Like I said, I think there's still aspects of this old figure that I do enjoy. And I'm not willing to really get rid of it, I don't think. Some of the paint apps are better on him than him. And then some of the paint apps are better on him than him. So it's like a weird sacrifice you're making. Now, the bad parts are where we get into the lower torso. I like the sculpt of this belt. It looks really good. I like that it's nice and thick, and it is a bit on the bulkier side, but it's still kind of malleable. Like, you can still move the legs and stuff. So if you wanted to have maybe this version on like a flight stand or something like that and have the helmet on, you could go with that and still, keep your old Jango around. I think he's still a solid looking figure. He's not the worst thing in the world like people are really making him out to seem. He also does have that dent effect right here, where I don't think this one does really. Oh no, it kind of does, but it looks so... It almost looks like a defect on this one, where this one, it looks intentional. You see the differences there? It's so minuscule on the new one, and evident on this one. That's actually sculpted in. So, I don't know, man. Like, I gotta say that maybe overall paint is better on the old one. Now, the feet are atrocious on this guy. He doesn't like to stand. His legs constantly want to part like the Red Sea. And he is rather bulky. He's rather big, where I think the older the Black Series has gotten, the smaller the figures have kind of, gotten a little skinnier to kind of really portray how more realistic they should be looking, where this is a little bit more toyetic, I want to say. A little bit more beefier, kind of like if this was, a vintage collection, this would be Power of the Force, But yeah, I let's take a look at the backpacks really quick. Obviously, the new backpack is far better. I want to say it's around the same size. And let's just see here if the old one can peg into the new jetpack. And you can get the new jetpack on the old body if you really want to do that. Whoa, hello. I'm dropping Jango all over the place. I also want to say that the system here for the hoses are just, I want to say, comparable or better. At least you're getting almost a 90 degree. No, it's under 90 degrees. But the only thing really getting in the way of the hoses here, because they're actually sculpted up here with a separate swivel, where this one is not. It is a separate swivel, but the hoses are like almost too high up, where you really have to move that and then bend it and then move the hoses over. So you got to do a little bit of work to get those to bend over. And then you got to swivel that wrist to make it look a little bit easier. But you can get a better bend than him, objectively speaking. But I like that this is actually engineered a little bit better for the hoses itself. It's just this piece right here that's actually getting in the way of him bending more. So if you did Dremel that out, you could get a better bend. I like the weathering detail on him. We'll probably see multiples of this guy, maybe one version with a poncho and, like I said, the headset down the road, maybe a 2-pack or something with younger Boba Fett. That would be really awesome, I think. But, the head sculpts are going to be, oh my God, night and day difference. I mean, look at this. It's not even close. This is like 10,000 times better. I even like the sculpt of this collared piece better than the old one. You do have the hinge joint for the head, and it gets way up there. This guy's not even coming close to that, and that's all the way up. So it's not even close for flight and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll use this guy as my poncho, and it'll cover kind of the bulkiness of him, and I'll use this as my regular Jango. So, I don't know. There's a lot of different options you can go with. Play with your toys however you want. Do whatever you want with them. But this guy's going to need some tender love and care in the paint department. It's just not up to my standard. Let's see both of them with their helmets on. And like I said, it's a really tight fit on him. And it's kind of a nice... it's both... I think they both passed the shake test. Like, they're not falling off or anything like that. Whoa, I'm just dropping everything. Now there's aliens all over the place. Let's get the old backpack on the proper Jango. And we'll get the new backpack on the new Jango. And it's a nice tight fit. I want to say both backpacks have a nice tight fit. Shake test. Nobody's falling off. So nothing to worry there. I don't know. I guess it's kind of pick your poison. If you really don't care to have to spend money on another Jango, and Jango's not really a big key character for you, and you already have this one, I think you're still good. I really do. I think you're fine. This is a better figure in a lot of ways. I want to say in size proportioning, yes. Anatomy, yes, he's better. He's just a little bit bigger. So if that's a thing, you don't like it. I don't know what to make of the helmets. There's part of me that likes this one a lot, but then there's, I don't know, I kind of like this one too for different reasons. Obviously the rangefinder or viewfinder, whatever you want to call that, I think it's rangefinder, that's just stuck in place. So I want to say that he does have the objective better helmet because you do have an articulated with detents rangefinder. So yeah, I would say that he's better. Overall, I think, I don't know, I'd still go with the new one because the head sculpt underneath just kills this one. It destroys it across the board. But I like the paint apps and the weathering on him. He's kind of clean, and the paint apps are very inconsistent with him. So I guess it's kind of like a pick your poison between the two. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be close to pretty much it for this guy. I'm not going to be doing like a whole hoopla thing, no turntable this time, but this is just a figure I really wanted to talk about. Like I said, he's one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and he's got some really good stories. You guys should read up on Jango here. Play the video game. Even the new Aspire remake or I don't know, reboot of Jango in Bounty Hunter is pretty well done. I think they fixed a lot of problems that the old game had, and I have both versions, the Aspire one and the original. But I got to say that, articulation, he's going to pose better. He just is. So that's not even a thought in anybody's head that, this guy, the old one's better than the new one. I objectively, I have to say that the new one is better, but there are a lot of really nice aspects about this old one. So while people have a lot of gripes with it, I think there's still usage for this old one. So there's that. I have to hook up my, little raisin there. But yeah, I like this guy. I would definitely give him the full seal of approval. Where's my seal of approval here? No, not that one. No, not that one. No. We don't want that. This one? Well, maybe. I don't know. Hey, no, not for this one. We're just going to go ahead and give him the regular 2 thumbs up and a recommendation. I think overall, with the shortcomings, I still think he's a solid release, really good, and I would recommend picking him up. I think if you don't have a Jango, this would be the one to get out of the 2, unless you really want that gaming grades version, which is pretty much the same thing on the old body, just with a different jetpack. But other than that, I think we'll see multiple versions of this guy, and it's a brand new mold across the board. There's no real reused parts or anything like that. So they're going to get the most out of this mold, and they're going to re-release him in multiple packs. And I'll probably pick those packs up too, because I love this guy. And yeah, most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy during the Old Republic, or not the Old Republic, during the Republic days. And yeah, I like him. Go get him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you going to get this one? What do you think about him compared to the old one? And yeah, are you going to pick them up? Did you already? And yeah, but let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe is free to do. It helps the channel grow, helps me, helps you, helps everybody. It's great. Helps the algorithm also. And yeah, share if you want to. There are channel memberships in the description box below, or you can just simply hit that join button. I have multiple tiers and multiple different ways that you can help out the channel and contribute if you want to. With different perks and such like that. And I do giveaways for channel members. Thank you to Terry Turner, and thank you to Woodman29 for your continued support as channel members. And that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Have a great day. Enjoy your collections, and I will see you guys on the flip side.